Welcome to the first installment of the USFL series of video podcasts. Each podcast will feature a USFL executive or a board member answering the questions that you, the fans, have sent in. I'd like to thank you all for participating and for supporting this league. Let's get started.
Is this for real? I'd love to see the return of the USFL. Thanks to Facebook fan Jeff Forster for the question.
Thanks, Jeff. That's a great question, and we've been asked that question quite a bit. Yes, this absolutely is for real. The executives we've assembled and the advisors we've assembled all believe that there is room in the sports landscape for spring football. That's why we want to bring the USFL back, and that's why we are trying to bring the USFL back.
What is End Zone Sports Management? Is the USFL just a vehicle or stunt to promote your company? Thanks to Facebook fan Adam Tozlowski for the question.
Thanks, Adam. End Zone Sports Management is the name of the limited liability company we formed in order to buy the USFL rights from the former owner. Despite the rumors and what people are suggesting, it has absolutely no ulterior motives. End Zone Sports is working round the clock only to bring back the United States Football League and relaunch a spring football league into the sports landscape.
When will teams be finalized and announced? Where will the teams go and how many teams will there be? Thanks to Twitter follower Mr. Bruce Leroy and Facebook fan Jordan Hankin for the questions.
We plan to kick off the inaugural season of the USFL with a minimum of 8 teams. Our goal is to get a broad footprint across the United States and really to bring pro football to cities that are underserved. We're looking for non-NFL and non-Major League Baseball cities. A tremendous amount of work goes into finding owners and potential cities that fit the USFL profile. We are working round the clock and behind the scenes, talking to investors, talking to potential team owners, and really trying to vet them for what we would be considering a long-term solution, not a short-term solution. We want these owners and these investors to be here 3-5 years from now at the minimum. Many of you know we have made significant progress with the folks in Akron, Ohio. We've also had some great discussions with potential team owners across the United States who have asked us to please keep the discussions confidential. Due to the private nature of the vetting process, we won't be able to disclose those until we're further along. I know how difficult it is for all of you to be patient and the desire to want more news. It is a complicated process, and it does take time to get through all of these processes that we have put in place to ensure that the teams we bring to the table are teams that are going to be here for years to come.
One thing fans want to know is why the logos of the original teams couldn't be resurrected for this league. Thanks to Facebook fan at USFL Today for the question.
That's a very simple question with a very complicated answer. The team names and the logos are all held by different entities. We are currently trying to acquire the team names and trademark those. The logos are a little bit more difficult, and of course they would actually need to be modernized to be able to be used for teams today. Additionally, we want to make sure that the team city is appropriate for the team name that is going to be given to it. For instance, if we were able to place a team in Birmingham, we would most certainly love to use the name the Birmingham Stallions. However, each team name is going to have to be appropriate to each city that the USFL team is placed in. If in fact it's not a legacy city, we would love to be able to have fan contests which will help us actually name the team. Again, we also want the owner investor to be involved in the process. So the methodology would have to be something that would involve both the owners and the public in doing this, and maybe coming up with a great name for their city based on some type of geography or demographic of the city. If we end up placing teams in original USFL cities, we will most certainly try to bring back the old USFL name that we all love so dearly and that made this USFL league something that we all remember.
The old league was known to be a fun alternative. What steps can the new USFL take in order to be known as fun? Thanks to Facebook fan Chris Evans for the question.
Thanks for that question, Chris. As you've seen on our website, our motto is Real Fun Football. And we here at the USFL have been working tirelessly to bring to you guys more than just football, entertainment as well. We want to make sure that each game day has something wrapped around the game that will make all of you guys come out and just have a great time. We want you to come out, enjoy the day, and then enjoy a great product of football that we intend to put on the field. Concerts, sports festivals, exhibitions, all types of different things that will be interactive, and we hope to do things that are going to be there for the young and the old fan. So when you come out to a game, it's going to be morning to night entertainment.
Any word on a TV contract? I'm hoping ESPN, ABC. Thanks to Twitter follower Drew Zuhowski for the question.
We want fans everywhere to get a chance to see the USFL experience and the product that we're putting on the field. However, television is a very complicated element to any sports league. And with so many distribution channels out there to choose from and so many networks to choose from, we want to make sure that we're making the right decision, not only for the fan, but for the league and its growth, and ultimately for the success of this league going forward for many, many years. What we've done is we have contracted a media consultant that will help us navigate through these waters. And again, with so many different distribution channels out there, we want to make sure that we are exposing ourselves to the best possible distribution to you, the fan. What I can say, though, is that we've had several conversations with networks across the board, and I think there's definitely interest out there. So what we don't want to do, though, is we don't want to name the networks because we don't want to put ourselves in a disadvantage when it comes time to negotiate. So what I can say is rest assured we're working hard to find the right network and the right partner, and when we do, we'll let you all know. What we don't want to do here is put the cart before the horse. What we want to do is we want to build a product that television will want to put on its networks, and therefore it will give us the opportunity to dictate how the game is viewed, rather than if we go too early with the network, and that network then influences us as to how it's going to present the game. So again, it's very, very difficult waters to navigate, and we want to make sure we have the right people and the solid foundations in order to bring you guys the best product possible.
Are you willing to use players that are just out of high school or left college after 1 year? Thanks to Facebook fan Dennis Justice for the question.
Thanks, Dennis. Thanks for all your questions and all your input. I would like to say basically on this question, I defer more to Fred Bolitnikoff Jr., our operations vice president. But to give you a short answer, our goal is really to extend the career of any football player, no matter how many years they've played in college. We really do want to encourage kids to go to college. You know, there's the one thing I can tell you is that coming out of high school, there's definitely a physicality difference from an 18, 19-year-old to a 22-year-old who has gone through 4 years of college. So I think this is something that might be looked at on a case-by-case basis, but I really will defer the complete answer to Fred Bolitnikoff Jr.
Do you worry that since you are labeling yourselves as a developmental league, that people will dismiss the league as minor? What are you doing to counter these thoughts? Thanks to Facebook fan Joshua Chandler for the question.
Joshua, this isn't a significant concern for us. We know here at the USFL that the pinnacle of the sport is the NFL, and that we are going to be a major league football entity in the landscape. However, we know that there will also be opportunities for players to go from the USFL to the NFL. So just by that movement, we will be looked at as a developmental league as well. So ultimately, our goal is to put a great product on the field. Our goal is to put together a wonderful brand of football, football that's fun, football that's real. It's traditional gridiron, and we know that ultimately these players will get exposed to NFL teams, and via that exposure, may be asked to come play for some of those teams in the NFL. So we don't anticipate and we don't label ourselves as minor league, and we know that the pinnacle of the sport is the NFL, and so we'll do everything we can to make sure that we are a league that stands apart, but that is it will be a major league football entity. We know that the appetite in America for football is insatiable, and we're going to be doing everything we can to bring you a high quality brand of football in the springtime when all of America is craving that contact type of sport. So we're excited that the landscape is open for us and that we're going to be able to bring you something that all of America has been asking for.
What's your goal as far as ideal attendance for the first year? Thanks to Facebook fan Colin Giuliani for the question.
Well, attendance and ticket sales are important. They're hardly the only source of revenue that each team will get. We're looking at merchandise sales, concessions, partnerships, TV revenues. All of these are elements that will determine the success of each team. That's why we're actually talking to different investors and different team owners who understand the model, who understand that they're going to sustain some losses over the first 3 years. But in order to have a successful league, you have to grow one step at a time. And we feel that the business model that we're using is a very sustainable business model. It's a hybrid from the MLS model and a little bit of the Arena Football League model. But we're very, very sure that this model is one that will allow for future growth and future success beyond the 3 years of the original kickoff. So we're looking at a lot of different factors in making sure that that owners understand and that the fans understand that this is a proposition that takes time and will take at least 2 to 3 years to really turn around. Thanks for watching the very first USFL podcast. Keep an eye on the USFL Insider and our social media pages for the very next podcast chat. See you all on the gridiron.